For some reason, digital storefronts don't last forever. This is the case with the 3DS and the Wii U, with their access becoming limited in the next few months. The FOMO set in for me, and I've been researching and purchasing the games that I will want to play in the future. So here's my list of games that should be considered for purchase from the eShop before they are lost forever. First up is Puzzle & Dragon Z plus Puzzle & Dragon Super Mario Edition. Puzzle & Dragon is a popular mobile game, full of microtransactions and energy mechanics. I have discussed on stream why I dislike the free-to-start model of games, so I was really delighted to find this interesting game in a complete retail release. Puzzle & Dragon is a match-3 puzzle game, but instead of moving one space, the player can take one gem and move it as much as they want in the time limit. This takes some getting used to, but it's super fun when you get the hang of it, so if you're a fan of the puzzle game, check this one out. If you are a rhythm game fan, then there are two games to consider. Rhythm Heaven Megamix is like the greatest hits of the Rhythm Heaven series, placing the player in wacky and I would say WarioWare-esque scenarios that encourage the player to stay on the beat in order to pass with a good grade. And whenever Game Freak creates a game that's not Pokemon, I'm interested to see what they come up with. This is the case for Harmonite, a rhythm runner game that uses different characters and control schemes to travel the land and defeat the bad guys. Definitely worth checking out. When I first got a 3DS, I wanted a game that took full advantage of the dual screen setup. Fractured Soul is a game where the level layout is on both screens, but the enemies and platforms may only be present on a single screen. The player will need to warp between the different screens to navigate the stage, and it definitely satisfied my expectations on a game that was using the dual screens to the fullest. I haven't ever played Pocket Card Jockey before, but I'd only ever heard good things about it. It's been described as horse racing mixed with solitaire, which I always thought was an unusual mix, so I always passed when it was time to pick it up. Well, I had to bite the bullet, and so I did get it and tried it out for the first time on stream. And I could say the mechanics do fit together to make an engaging experience, and I am excited to play more of this one in the future. Moving on to the more retro side of things, we reach the 3D Classic series. These games were rebuilt from the ground up and port classic NES games to the 3DS. I'm going to feature two here. First, Excitebike. This is a widescreen 3D Excitebike, making this the definitive single-player Excitebike experience. Next is Kid Icarus. I picked this game up after playing through and enjoying Kid Icarus Uprising, and I was pleasantly surprised to find colorful 3D backgrounds. This makes this the version of the game that I keep returning to when I want to make another attempt at Kid Icarus for the NES. The mysterious Murasame Castle is an NES game that was made in Japan using the same engine as The Legend of Zelda. I was familiar with this game from Super Smash Bros. And that Ninja Star throwing minigame in Nintendo Land for the Wii. I didn't know that the game was never released here in the West, and it's now available on the 3DS eShop. It's in Japanese, but I didn't want to miss having this title in my collection. I've played through a few Pokemon games on the Virtual Console, and one of the best parts is transferring my team from the 8-bit games to the modern games. But to do that, you need Pokemon Bake and Poke Transporter. So if you're interested in playing Pokemon like this, then make sure you have these downloaded on your 3DS system before the shop goes down. Moving on to the Wii U eShop, just like how Fractured Soul made the most out of the dual screen system, Affordable Space Adventures is the single greatest use of the Wii U gamepad in the entire software library of the Wii U. You play as a crew, hopefully with one or two friends beside you, of an exploratory spacecraft stranded on a planet. The engineer has the gamepad, and it displays the control and status of all the ship's systems. Using the information from the gamepad and the television screen, the crew must navigate the planet in an effort to find safety. I've played through the entire game on stream with a couple buddies, and it is well worth it. Just like how the mysterious Murasame Castle is an NES game that wasn't released in the West, there are 3 games like this on the Wii U eShop. Kurokuro Kurunin is a Game Boy Advance game that has only been released in Japan and Europe. In this game, you play as a spinning rod that needs to be guided through an obstacle course, and this was surprisingly fun. My only gripe when I tried it was that I wanted to use the analog stick instead of the D-pad, and to my surprise it worked, so this may be the best way to play the game. Versus Excitebike was originally released on the Famicom Disk System. It works like a sequel to Excitebike with new tracks and that all-important multiplayer feature. Versus Excitebike can be found on the Nintendo Switch Online service now, along with the third game, Earthbound Beginnings. This was the never-before localized first entry in the Earthbound series. And if you're like me and would prefer to quote-unquote own these games, then you need to pick them up on the Wii U eShop. Mini Mario Amiibo Friends Challenge is a free download that you can play if you have a large collection of Mario Amiibo. So if you have the Amiibo, make sure that you have this game downloaded before the shop closes. I think that the next time I revisit the Super Mario series, I'm going to do it on the Super Mario Advance games. One reason is that in the Advance version of Super Mario Bros. 3, all of the e-reader levels are included. These were like DLC before there was storage on systems. These stages required an e-reader and the e-reader cards to unlock them, but they have all been unlocked on the Virtual Console release of Super Mario Advance 4 Super Mario Bros. 3. And that's my list. Pick them up while you can, and if I missed one, then leave it down in the comments. For more discussion on other hidden gems, check out my video on Super Mash, the game that makes games, where we learn if a game that makes games can make good games. Check out that video next, and thank you for watching.